Hello everyone, welcome back to the JDCodebase. This is the web development series. In today's video, we are going to learn one of the most important top CSS topic, Flexbox versus Grid. If you are confused when to use Flexbox, when to use Grid, or you get nervous when interviewer asks Flexbox is 1D or 2D, which one should I use for layout? Then this video will clear everything in a very simple and beginner friendly way. We will first understand the concept using the slides, then we will move to VS Code and actually write code. So you will understand it practically. So let's get started. So in this video we will learn what is Flexbox and Grid. Then what is 1D layout and 2D layout, when should we use Flexbox, when should we use Grid, some real world use cases and common interview question, and finally we will do coding example also. So this topic will make your layout strong and also help you in interviews. Now in modern website completely depend on the layout system. If you don't understand Flexbox and Grid properly, what happens? Layout breaks, responsiveness design fails, and code becomes messy. And this is why every interview asks focus on the Flexbox or Grid. So it is very important to understand them clearly. So let's get a quick overview. Flexbox is a one-dimensional layout system, and it works in either row or column, not both together. It is the best when you are arranging content in a straight line. And in other side, Grid is a two-dimensional layout system, and it works with the rows and columns together, and it is best for page layout and structure design. Now think of a flex box like arranging items in a straight line, either in the horizontal or in the vertically. So like a navigation bar, buttons group, toolbar, anything where element sit next to each other in one direction. And important idea is like flex box control only one direction at a single time. And grid is like designing a complete layout with rows and column. For example, web page layout, dashboard layout, image gallery, complex responsive layout. Here we are handling rows and columns together. So grid is more powerful when you need structure. Next is the Flexbox key property. When we use Flexbox, these are the main properties: display flex, activate the Flexbox, flex direction rows or column, justify content, horizontal alignment, align item, vertical alignment, flex wrap, wrapping the items, gap, space between the items, order means change position. In simple word, Flexbox helps in the adjusting and aligning elements smartly. Now for grid, these are the main properties. Display grid activates the grid system. Grid template columns define the columns. Grid template rows define the rows. Grid template areas name layout. Gap is for spacing, place item for the alignment, and grid is perfect for the creating structure layout. Now this is the biggest point. Flexbox is the 1D and grid is 2D, meaning you can control either row or column, not the both together in Flexbox. And in grid you control rows and columns both together. If you remember only this, 50% confusion is gone. Now when to use Flexbox? Flexbox use when you need to alignment. Items are in one direction, content size is unknown, item should adjust automatically. And real life example is like navbar, menus, centering items, cards in a single row. When to use grid? Use grid when you need structure layout. Designing you need 2D control, rows plus columns both matter. Layout is predefined, and examples for this is full page layout, product listing, and dashboard, multi-section layout. Now I will like to explain it like this. Flexbox is the content first, and layout adjust according to the content. And grid is layout first, content it fit inside the layout. So very simple understanding is this. Now performance and support. Both Flexbox and Grid are supported in all modern web browser, and Grid come later, but now it is fully stable. Flexbox is a little simpler to start with, but both are professional and safe to use. So common student mistakes are like using Flexbox or full page layout, using Grid for small simple alignment, ignoring 1D or 2D concept, overcomplicating the layout, and just remember simple alignment, use the Flexbox, and complex layout, use the Grid. Now in interviews you will be asked question like difference between the Flexbox and Grid, when to use Flex versus Grid, and Flexbox is 1D or 2D, is Grid responsive or not, can full layout be built use with the Flexbox or not. Now I will be give you perfect interview answer here. But if interview asks Flexbox versus Grid difference, Flexbox is the one-dimensional layout system and used to arrange items in the rows or column in a single way. And Grid is a two-dimensional layout system used for to create the layout with the rows and columns together. Flexbox is best for the content alignment. Grid is best for the full layout. Then when to use Flex, simple alignment. When to use Grid, structure alignment. So let's move to VS Code and write the code for this. Wait, yes. So here I already write the normal basic HTML structure with the Flex container and a div container, Grid container. So let's see. So first write the CSS for the Flexbox. Let's write here in the Flex container. First activate by the display Flex. All comes in a single line. Behave like a inline element, and then border is the 2 pixels solid black for the separate this. Padding is the 10 pixel and gap is the also 10 pixel, let's say. Yes, works fine. So here display flex the activate the Flexbox by default, and Flexbox direction is row, so items come in a line. Now add the direction and alignment. So justify content center, come in the center here, and align item center, already in the center. So let me give the height, let's say 100 VH. So if you see in the center this come. So justify contents, control the horizontal alignment in from this 1 2 3 4 in this side, and align items for this scroll bar means in this direction. Now let's see the Grid container. So for to activate display Grid, and now let's write the Grid template. Columns becomes repeat 3 1 fr1 fraction. What happened? Yes, now I forget the comma, and gap between the here is the 10 pixel. Okay, that's fine, means works fine here. And Grid template column means repeat 3 1 fr means equally 3 equal columns, and so Grid control row and column together, that is a 2D layout. Like here is the 1D layout, here is 2D layout. So this is the main difference here. So here Flexbox arranges the item in one line, and Grid arranges the in the rows plus column. So when to use Flexbox, I will tell you for a single line layout, or when to use Grid for a when we have to control the rows and columns both. So this is the quick comparison. Again 1D 2D layout, either one row or column, both rows and columns as normal one. And real example like navbar, button group for Flexbox, and page layout, gallery, dashboard, complex for the grid. So let's summarize. We learn the Flexbox is the one-dimensional, grid is the two-dimensional. When to use what, and also see the interview answer, real-world practical coding example. Now you should not be confused anymore. So alright guys, that is for today's video. I hope now Flexbox versus grid is completely clear to you. If you found this helpful, do like, share and subscribe to JDCodebase and check the description. I have added the PPT and code files there. See you in the next video. Take care and keep coding.